a simple Sunday sermons special on All Saints Sunday with Janene Johnson.
Thanks, Pastor Bill, for letting me be the first special guest on your Sunday morning spot. On Saints Among Us on All Saints Day, thoughts from the day after. So how do you get it right at your dad's funeral? How do you capture the essence of who they were? How do you take in the stories from people who came? How do you look over hundreds of photos and try to remember it all? Well, you do your best, and sometimes in the hours after the funeral, it comes to you. So here are my final thoughts on my dad, Jerry Peterson, and his one remarkable life on All Saints Sunday. There was a lot of scripture in the service and hymns, and it was the anchor of who he was. I saw him read it my whole life, go to Bible studies, teach on it. I heard it in his prayers, but I don't remember him ever quoting it to me. Instead, he showed it to me. He didn't tell me the Bible was the most important book. He showed me. He didn't tell me to be part of a church, worship weekly, serve with the gifts you've been given. He showed me. He didn't tell me to forgive and share what you have. He showed me. He didn't tell me to welcome the stranger and the refugee. He showed me. He didn't tell me to clothe the naked, feed the hungry, give shelter, rides, furniture, gas money, clothing, appliances to those in need. He showed me. He didn't tell me that no one was beyond hope, that nothing is beyond forgiveness, no mistake is beyond repair. He showed me. How did I ever come to believe that there's a God who knows everything about me, good and bad, forgives me, and never leaves me, who's there to help and guide me, and who actually smiles at me and celebrates over me? How could there possibly be a God who knows my name? Dad showed me. There's one story from his life that's my absolute favorite, and I'd ask him to tell it many times. And my kids will probably roll their eyes, but I just have to tell it. Why I didn't tell it yesterday, I have no idea. He was in elementary school, likely around the 4th or 5th grade. Back then, you went home for lunch. On this particular day, he and his buddy was having lunch out in the front yard in northeast Minneapolis. He lived on a pretty steep hill that went down into a very busy street. As he was eating, the neighbor visitor had pulled up and parked their car in front of their house. He noticed that the mom left her younger daughter in the front seat, and she was moving around. There were no car seats back then. Suddenly, he saw the car begin to roll forward, heading down the hill. Immediately, he dropped his lunch, got up, and jumped in front of the car to try and stop it. As the car gained momentum, it literally pushed him over and rolled over him, with the wheels on either side. He quickly got up, turned around, and tried to grab the bumper, of course, but this was becoming a lost cause as the weight and the speed of the car was growing beyond what he could control. His next decision was to run up, open the driver's door, and jump in. As he jumped in, he saw not only the young girl in the seat, but there was a baby lying on the seat in the back. Again, no car seats. He was able to put on the brake, park the car, and get out just as the mom came running out of the neighbor's house, screaming. Way to go, Dad! What a hero! But what happened next is truly remarkable. This is how the conversation would go. Me. Well, then what, Dad? Dad. Well, I went back to finish my lunch, and can you believe my friend had eaten my pear? And he laughed. Me. Wait. I mean, what did the mom do? Dad. I think she took the kids to the neighbors. Didn't she thank you? I don't remember that she did. What? Well, what did your mom say? I don't think I told her. I was so upset that Charlie ate my pear. He laughs again. And I had to quick change my shirt because it had gotten dirty when the car rolled over me. And lunch was about over and we had to get back to school. Well, I said, I bet when you told it at school, everybody went nuts. It was the talk of the day. I don't think we told anybody. So you didn't get a reward, even a thank you, or get in the paper? Oh no. So the two children never knew who it was that likely saved their lives? I guess not. Dad said, I just remember I was so mad he ate my pear. I was really hungry. And he laughs again. Even then, Dad didn't talk about what he did. He just did it. He said he left the ministry because he discovered he wasn't much of a preacher. And he saw that as a bit of a defeat. I totally disagree. He was far too good at showing us who God was to try and tell us who he was. So he got back to it in his next career, his family, his church, his neighborhood, the checkout line, the boat, the ball field, the parking lot, wherever he was. And he rocked it. Thanks, Dad. Well done.
And as Janene was sharing that, and as we were thinking about this morning, there was a poem that came to me entitled Sermons We See by Edgar Guest. And I'd like to read that first stanza to kind of summarize the thought and the feeling and a life this morning. I'd rather see a sermon than hear one any day. I'd rather one should walk with me than merely tell the way. The eye's a better pupil and more willing than the ear. Fine counsel is confusing, but example's always clear. And the best of all the preachers are the men who live their creeds. For to see good put in action is what everybody needs. Peace be to his memory. And on this bench that he made for us in our backyard with a dog that he enjoyed, come on, Britt, come on. Until next time, we'll say it all together. May you live all the days of your life.